Our next speaker is Chris Staufer. I first met Chris in Ramp 2009. The thing that impressed me the most was that he said something about he wanted to know if he could still do it, if he could still do the things he wanted to do. So come on up, Chris.
I learned more about Lee Mitchell today by going over to the Triple Crown Annual Awards Banquet. I know Lee, what I've known of him has been related to RAM, but the program over there, over half the time was devoted to people talking about Lee and what he had done for the bicycle club. I'm going to speak to you strictly from the standpoint of what RAM does for people. It creates a bond of friendship and caring that goes deeper than most blood relatives. To back up to last time we did RAM in 2012 at the initiation or introductory mandatory instructions where all the riders and the crew people have to come. And by the way, in 2012, there were riders from 19 different countries. For those of you that aren't familiar with RAM, 19 different countries were represented there. And I'm not sure who decided to do this, but I think it was great. They said, how many people here have participated in 5 or more RAMs? And a bunch of people stood up. Okay. How many have participated in 8 RAMs? A lot of people stepped down. It's really thin now. How many people have participated in, it's either 10 or 12. Now you only have a handful left. How many people have participated in 15 RAMs? I believe there were 3 people. I think Joe Smith was one of them. How many people have participated in 18 RAMs? There's one person, the guy with the white beard. How many people have participated in 22 RAMs? There's one person. Lee is still standing. 25. Lee is still standing. He is light worlds ahead of anybody else in the number of RAM events that he has participated in. 27, if you look at the shirt that's designed, his words were 27 RAMs were hard but fun. A friend of mine back home, Fort Wayne, Indiana, I was telling him all about these boys on, and he said, it sounds to me that what Arnold Palmer did for the sport of golf, Lee Mitchell did for the RAM adventure. And I really believe that. He set a standard so high that I don't believe anybody will ever break that in the number of events to participate in. Now, he not only gave of his time and energy planning all this stuff, he donated his van and all the costs. In 2006, or 2009, and it makes me think he couldn't believe all that he said. He said he would be out riding his bike and some individual would come along because they recognized him with the Red Sox and say, you know, what are you training for? Well, we're training to do RAM. And the guy handed Lee some money. Well, this is really nice. Lee lets us know. A few weeks later, Lee is out there riding. The guy says, well, how's everything coming? Well, he said, it's progressing, but, we're still needing some money. The guy gives him some more money. This unknown person paid $40,000, which was the total cost for the event. And among the riders, we always speculated, Could this have been our crew chief from 2004, or was it Fuzzy? We don't know, and at this point I don't need to know, I don't want to know, but I know he gave generously of his time and resources. He was like a magnet drawing people to him, and like super glue holding them when they became his friend. The best example I can give you of the deep, deep bonds of friendship that he established. In 2011, he crewed for 4 women. And, you know, we talked before the event and after, and I knew how extremely fond and proud that he was of these women. I believe I'm correct in saying that these 4 women, called the Raw Milk Cats, and I believe 2 of them are here this evening, they set a record for the fastest crossing for 4 women of any age, any time. But here's the amazing thing. They live out on the West Coast. When we finished RAM 2012, who is on the East Coast to meet our group, because Fuzzy is the crew chief. They were so attached to him, these 4 women traveled to the East Coast to meet Fuzzy. And they spent like 3 days there with us. It was wonderful getting to know them. And it was through those ladies being there that we ended up, when the awards ceremonies were over and all the trophies had been passed out, everybody was finished talking, there was a little sadness in our group, because there's no way we were going to try it at 85, you know. That was just unreasonable to think about it. So our crew, our riders, there was some sadness. It was real quiet. I said, wouldn't it be interesting to take 2 of our old guys with 2 of these fast young women, make a 4-person mix, and go after the 70 mixed or 60 mixed record. It was real quiet. I knew they were thinking about it. I said, don't count me in, I won't be able to do it. Lee, there's one person sitting between me and Lee. He reached over, put his hand on mine, said, Chris, I'll cover you. It's the kind of person he was. You know, there needs to be a little humor. We need to, you know, we're enjoying being together. One of the fun things that sticks out in my mind, you know, first time I did RAM, there was an existing record for 70-year-olds. And if we didn't break that, in my mind, we failed. And so there was intensity, there wasn't any fun. We broke the record. The next year, 75-year-old, there was no record, so there was no intensity. It was, you know, we were just having fun. Obviously, the last time we did it as 80-year-olds, it was just fun. And I'm losing my train of thought at the point that I'm trying to, but instead of saying I'm having a senior moment, here's what I say. Man, I've never been this old before. It's always true. So now I lost my train of thought. Lou.
Chris, could you share with us the German prayer?
Well, I was, yes. It's one of the things I need to do. Oh, I said a little humor. John Hughes was the crew chief. And you know, I knew we'd go through Indiana, where I'm from, and you know, from there we're 2/3 of the way across. So I kept asking John Hughes, what state are we in? You know, we were in California a long time, and we were in Colorado a long time. And finally one day, he said, we're in the state of CRS. I said, what's CRS? He says, can't remember shit. You almost brain dead from fatigue and lack of sleep. You can't think rationally, and you do dumb things. You do dumb things. On the video, I think it shows. The first time we did it, they said there's a tradition with the pack masters that before the ride, the 4 riders get around one another, put their arms around each other, form a circle, and they say a prayer. And they asked if I would say a prayer that year. Well, I was caught totally off guard. I did. And coming into the event, I thought, okay, we're good friends. The thing that's important is that we're safe. Not that we set a record necessarily, but that we're safe and that we're friends afterwards. Because I know a case where a wife and daughter were crewing for the husband, and they got so angry with him that they left him sitting in the middle of the desert and went home. Not a good situation. But what Lou is referring to is the last year, 2012, Ronnie Bell, one of the writers, we put our arms around each other, we're ready to say the prayer, and Ronnie says, Chris said, I'm going to say a Jewish prayer. He said, I want you to say an Amish prayer. Okay, I grew up horse and buggy Amish. Okay, I decided I would say the Lord's Prayer in German. And you will know when I'm finished. So bear with me. This is the Lord's Prayer in German. Unser Vater, der du bist im Himmel, geheiligt wird dein Name, zu uns komme der Reich, der Wille geschehe auf Erde, wie die ist im Himmel. Gib uns heiliges täglich Brot, vergib uns unsere Schuld, wir vergeben unsere Schuld. Lass uns nicht einig verbergen in Versuch, sondern lesen von den Wesen. Dein ist Reich, dein ist die Kraft, dein ist die Herrlichkeit zur Ewigkeit. Amen. Okay. I've never been this old before. What does Lee write at the end of his letters? I wanted to say you betcha. That's the end.